that Tarzan's going to employ. He's a man that still does like playing the Taliyah, and he's going to lock that one in here for Griffin.
Taliyah jungle definitely going to have some global ability with the Galio trying to control the side lanes. Now, as you mentioned about the Rek'Sai not having the most success, a lot of people, they were very hyped, and I'm going to say overly so, when Rek'Sai got the small buffs. Got the buffs in 9.4, came in, ultimate
Void Rush
no longer,
buff was pretty big.
And having a lot of solo queue success, but Rek'Sai still faces the same predicament in competitive, which is that after 2 items or so, she sort of does start to tip her off and fall off. But it's not really a problem when your whole goal is to primarily almost end the game by the 2-3 item mark as Draven and Jace, and just making sure that your team gets really far ahead, and Rek'Sai's really good at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll see whether they can actually navigate this one, because this could be tough. This is a composition that wants to scale but has Azir for late game insurance, but I still feel like if this comp falls behind against the tankiness of Griffin, they're going to have a real tough time keeping everyone alive, because these health bars just don't have a lot in them as this game moves on.
And on the flip side, for Griffin, a very control-y team composition inside of the Gnar, Taliyah, Galio, Lucian, and Braum. So laning phase will definitely be very important. If they can weather the Storm Atlas, like you said, there's almost no hope for the Sandbox team comp the longer that it goes.
Yeah, but the Sandbox composition is certainly capable of getting priority around the map and really bringing it to Griffin in this game. And what are Sandbox known for, if not for smashing teams in the early game? Griffin doesn't get smashed, though. We'll see whether it happens this game. All right, we have a packed house right here. It's sold out in under 5 minutes, I am pretty sure. Sandbox versus Griffin is turning into a game similar to that of the Telecom War. Not in the lineage, but in the hype that it's been built up to. Griffin versus SKT was extraordinarily exciting. But Sandbox have already taken a game off Griffin. We have to remember that SKT weren't able to in the first round robin. This is Sandbox's second chance at it. And Sandbox, of course, formerly Battle Comics, have got a lot more experience going up against Griffin. Having spent some time in the Challengers career together.
Looks like both teams are just intent on having a relatively safe defensive opening on both parties. And so we're not going to have any action to kick off anything. The first time for Gnar and Taliyah.
Yeah.
Inside of Tarzan and Sword. Oh,
Tarzan has
have
played
late invade.
All right, so we are going to clear out some vision. Lehends, of course, on the Braum. Probably one of the best invading supports that you can have in this game, as they do start off the red buff. And it's going to be a bit of damage being taken here as Lehends goes over. They knew that something might have been waiting here. It will be a smite fight most likely, and it does go to Tarzan. They get the flick back as he's taking the seismic shove at level 1. Has to force the flash as another Winter's Bite is going to connect. And OnFleek is so far behind.
OnFleek is super far behind right now.
Early smite, unfortunate. That was a 50-50, of course, guys. As Tarzan comes down, lands the second one as well. The stun comes in, and Ghost, that's not going to be the Draven that we expect. No flashes bottom side of the map.
No, and Tarzan knows that he can spend this time doing nothing, as he's just going to path into the Scuttle Crab, ends up finding himself actually with really nice advantages. And look at this Ghost. Going to get zoned out of a few minions of XP as well as the gold. And we talked about how the Draven, he wants to get ahead. That kill lane is set really, really far behind right now. And OnFleek, a little bit busy.
Speaking of busy, LS, it was pre-2 minutes, and already Tarzan has stolen a buff, gotten 2 flashes, and put his opponent behind. Like, that's just a lot of stuff that he's already been able to do.
Well, I mean, he didn't get the Nexus.
That is true.
So,
hasn't killed the Nexus just
impressed.
yet. And OnFleek is going to be able to even up the red buffs here. He is going to be a little bit behind as far as the clear is concerned, but it's going to be even. Vertical jungling is going to ensue here as Nice Hook is going to land. Really good playback as well from Joker. But this is a Ghost that can't actually go in because he's only got half a health bar and no flash. Tarzan's going to come back down towards the bottom side. He just clears out a couple of camps and he's going to get himself in here. Level 3 available relatively early on, and Sandbox say they want none of this. Chovy was even backing. He's going to use his teleport to get back into the mid lane, so it won't be available here as Tarzan's going to loop around. Don't know whether there's enough minions for Tarzan to really get in here, but the seismic shots have been on point so far.
Oh, man.
All right, here he goes. Seismic Shot isn't going to land this time. He's going to be able to throw the threaded volley through, and Lehends has to flash. That's the axe. Some very early adoration stacks, and Ghost will pick up the first blood.
And that just completely salvaged the bottom lane state now. Very uncharacteristic miss there for Tarzan.
Yeah, if that was the one you miss out of the three, it's the one you certainly didn't want to.
Yep.
Chicken's going to do a lot of damage here to OnFleek, but he knows there's no one around here as Tarzan had already shown himself, and he is going to be able to get a lot of work done. OnFleek very, very low. Chovy moving on over. Level 3 to the level 5 that Chovy has been able to put together. As remember, these junglers are certainly on welfare this game. Tarzan spending a lot of time ganking bottom lane, and OnFleek, of course, losing out on his first buff, made things much slower. Tarzan looping around once again. He's not going to be deterred. Okay.
And it looks like Chovy right now doing relatively fine in the mid lane. Already used that teleport. We'll take another quick look at this right here. Tarzan just barely missed. And it was because of this Lehends pulled into the turret. And it's interesting.
나 이거 잡았다. 나이스.
I got it.
I just like
나이스.
Yeah.
What? Oh.
Almost like, oh,
You landed a
he
hook.
missed.
You landed a hook.
Nice.
Did very, very well. Chovy, speaking of doing very, very well, is going to utilize his entire Aftershock timing to mitigate damage, also get a bit of damage at the end, and Dove is going to struggle here as far as that trade is concerned. He's looking for a back. Potentially, does have the cleanse, so no teleport to make his way back in, much like what Chovy was able to get done.
Chovy's actually keeping Dove locked underneath his turret for the most part.
It's a priority that we weren't necessarily expecting from this matchup, but you can understand Azir not necessarily an early game bully of any kind. There's a piercing light coming in from Viper to try and get damage back, but doesn't get the double tap onto anyone, and they're respecting Joker a lot because now this lane is ahead. BF sword in hand for Ghost. Tarzan's not going to be able to find any joy top side of the map. He's spotted out Summit, probably wanting to go home relatively soon anyway. Does have teleport and wants to get some of his mana bar back.
Down here in the bottom lane, it's only a Vamp Scepter against the BF sword, so Viper not in the best of spots down here on the Lucian and the Brahmin. Sandbox are in a fantastic position right now. They have Rek'Sai in close proximity to bottom lane. You know that Talia's not going to be down there anytime soon. Meanwhile, though, Summit is under a little bit of pressure. Sword still hasn't recalled. He's at full HP. It's not the spot that you want to be in as the Jace.
Yeah, he's still going to be fine as far as the CS is concerned, but we saw this matchup, Smeb versus Cuvée, yesterday, and it was a different story. If you can cast your mind back, that was Smeb honestly just trashing the Gnar in the matchup. It was game number 2. So a surprising pickup here, but Sword showing us why he was so confident to pick that one up, as Hook is going to land on the minion. That's going to mean now Griffin have a chance to go back in, the dash after, but thankfully there is a Lantern Ride that goes to take it. He's going to be absolutely fine as the Hook comes back off cooldown. This is something that we've been a little bit, I guess, questionable at, or questioning at, as far as Joker's playstyle. He does like to just throw out hooks on cooldown willy-nilly. Doesn't like to hold it on and have the threat of it there. Just likes to go for plays if he can find them. It certainly worked when they were making that exchange bottom side of the map, but does mean that he opens windows for Griffin to play around if he does keep doing that bottom side.
Sword ends up transforming into the Mega Gnar, but just going to end up being forced to CS the... Oh, man!
That's the Gnar. Underneath the turret, the slow is going to be there with the crush. I've seen that play before, but the minions, look at how much work they're doing. Hyperproc gets Sword out of there, but that trade has been evened up. No teleport available for Summit, but the minion wave's in a decent spot if he does want to go back. Oh, man, if it was a serrated Dirk pickup first for Summit, I think he was dead right there.
Well, Sword... that was a very creative ultimate. I actually thought one more turret shot was going to end up hitting, but not quite. That definitely would have made it go in Sword's favor, but it was definitely a nice pushback by Summit as OnFleek Looking to make a flash knock-up play here. Oh yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, Chovy's in position though, wants to get down with the hero's entrances. There it is, the taunt to come through. That should be a double kill to come out, as OnFleek is going to use the Void Assault to get him out of here, but Tarzan turns up. Will he have the flick this time? The answer is no, as Threaded Volley is going to hit some minions, but OnFleek's buying time and nothing else. Hook going to go wide, bottom side of the map, and Griffin answer back.
And meanwhile, during all of this though, Dove was able to get the cannon wave shoved all the way in. He's also getting himself some turret plates there in mid lane, so it's not just the kill trades and the kills picked up for Griffin up in top lane. You have to factor in the gold that Dove is getting access to, that Chovy is just missing out on. Sword rushing into mid lane to pick up the remnants of the last wave, but when all is said and done, it's probably ending up to be a relatively even trade. Taking another quick look at the replay here. Flash ended up being expended. Unfortunately, one minion was remaining, so OnFleek looked like he was going to get away, but Tarzan was here.
Yeah, he comes up, doesn't find the seismic shove, but Threaded Volley being available and a bunch of extra damage, and that's Tarzan picking up the kill. And that's actually great news, because Talia does need a little bit of help as far as getting relevant damage moving forward in this game, and if they can get some sort of mid-game advantage, that's where Griffin do need a bit of help against this Sandbox composition, holding onto the Draven with the access to the Infinity Edge Bloodthirster combo. After the Infinity Edge was changed on the recent patch, means that he's just such a powerhouse on 2 items. It's just insane. CS, though, is going very, very well in favor of Viper. He's taken the teleport, meaning that he was able to get back to lane very, very easily, and Bilgewater Cutlass is now in his back pocket. Bam Scepter is going to augment the build of Ghost, looking for the Bloodthirster as item number 1.
Sword here getting that last cannon minion. Probably not looking to recall. He's getting...
I think he missed it. That was a bit sad. And then lost half of his health bar. Flash still available for the Gnar, which is certainly good news for them. Chovy, you mentioned the fact that, you know, he did miss out on a bunch of minions. 2 turret plates went down in favor of Dove, but the CS is certainly very, very close, and he does now have that kill and assist, meaning that he is ahead as far as gold is concerned. Bunch of different items now being put together at the same time for Chovy. Has that revolver as well as the Lost Chapter, so looks like we will have a Luden's Echo as well as a Proto Belt, which means that Chovy will have a lot of damage as the Galio, but not necessarily going to be as tanky as some of the others that we've seen.
Aren't those the item components for GLP?
Oh yeah, it could actually be Super Soaker.
Yeah,
that is true. That item's changed a little bit a few different times, so I'm not used to.
Yeah, it used to be the catalyst.
Yeah, I see the revolver and I still think it's going to be Will of the Ancients. You know, let's get really confused.
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, a bit of a throwback there for all of the OG players.
That was very nice.
Thank you. Oh, Swordy's going to land the boulder. Will this mean that Tarzan comes around? He's pretty fast, surfing on these walls. The flash in is going to get the flash out of the response. But once again, we're not going to find the seismic shove. That means Tarzan's not going to be able to get too much more. OnFleek's going to come in to try and get the retaliation. But I think that Sword will be able to get this minion wave in the right spot. Joker's moving on up. And that is 3 members up here on the top side of the map that won't have much to do other than sweep out some vision and challenge for Shelly. Okay, Ghost. In trouble, has to use the flash very, very quickly. And Griffin, you can see, as soon as something is revealed, as soon as they know that there's a person missing from somewhere, they pounce. That only getting a flash means that Shelly should still belong to Sandbox, and they're continuing to push a lead forward. Jace is going to be able to move on down. He has priority. Sword went back. And so Griffin are going to move over, but with a man disadvantage, I don't think they're going to be able to get too much done. Chovy was looking for that 4-man taunt. I saw it as well, Chovy, but I think that was you getting a little bit overly aggressive if you were to go for that play, so going to have to back off.
Still only a 1k gold deficit here right now, but a minute and a half remaining on the turret plates. We'll see if OnFleek just wants to summon the Rift Herald up here in top lane after Summit gets back, but maybe interested in trying to deal a bunch of damage to Sword.
Yep, that's going to be almost half the health bar now, but the Gnar bar is in a decent position. Void Assault is going to come in there. The crush after the hop is enough to create the distance, and the ultimate isn't going to execute this time. This should be a Mountain Drake going over to Griffin on the back end, so no Herald and Drake unless Ghost and Joker can do something crazy. Not going to happen. Whirling Death was optimistic at best. Now not going to have that ultimate here towards the bottom side of the map, and they know that Tarzan is in the area. Another priority gifted over to Griffin. In theory, they're looking for a back timing, as Blade of the Ruin King might be ready for Viper here. Man, turret plates are at a premium for Griffin, but Sandbox seem to be finding them everywhere.
Really surprised, actually, that OnFleek didn't just summon the Herald up in top lane. It might have been able to help Summit raise the top turret.
And now he got 20 seconds until those plates fall down, and it's wasted money, right?
Completely wasted money. Rift Herald is almost, in no universe, ever going to be able to get 2 turrets. And so, just use it to convert into turret plates.
Yeah. It's just free money that you're not getting anymore. It's like the coupon expires after 14 minutes, and as it ticks over,
I had
see you later, guys.
Had a few coupons actually expire recently.
Oh, really? Sorry, I didn't mean to strike a nerve or anything like that. Apologize, man. First items coming in for both of our AD carries. Their lifesteal of choice, Blade of the Ruin King and Bloodthirster. Have to feel that Ghost is very, very happy down here. It would be tough to move. The old Draven with all of that lifesteal as well as the overshield. A couple of overshields, most likely, having gone into precision.
Nothing much really happening on the map. However, I do expect things to happen as soon as that Infernal Drake does spawn in about 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, first dragon going over to Griffin was a good one for them, but as you can see the state of the game, it is, in fact, pretty hard push coming in from Sandbox in most of these lanes. Sword going to try and get something back here as he pushes Summit underneath his tower. Black Cleaver is done though, and there's only a phase here for Sword. So I don't know whether you're exactly battle ready, my friend, up against the Jace. And Rift Herald is going to be summoned. It's going to be into the mid lane, and that should be first turret. Going down in favor of Sandbox. Their early game has always been good, but Shelly should have enough to pop this one. Oh, very, very close. Sun Turret's going to replace it, so look at that. Sandbox tear him down, and they put him straight back up for you.
Isn't that just, except it's under their brand.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really sad.
That's true. I mean, you got to... No one works for free. You know?
You know, I've never seen anyone build as quickly as Azir. That is quite impressive.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm not going to make a Fortnite joke.
Oh?
No, I'm not going to do it. It's not happening. Thought about it. Thought about it.
My mind is dark, but it's not that dark.
I know, right? Yeah.
I wouldn't even think to murmur those words together.
I'm pretty sure that... I was just talking about 2 weeks, of course. You know, in 2 weeks' time. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, not a proper now. Not a proper now. There's another joke available there, but I'm not going to go there either. We're just gonna skip on over. Ghost does have that gigantic overshield. They're going to do their very best to shove this wave in, but you can see Griffin are holding on to the minion wave. Now going to be okay. That's a flick back onto OnFleek. Almost 100 to 0, but does have the Lantern Ride available as Joker pulls him out of there with the Dark Passage. That's looking real scary, though. Tarzan with the Runic Echoes completed, as well as the Sork Boots on top of it. He's an Oblivion Orb away from having that mid-game dream in those two. Speaking of mid-game dreams, Summit's living it right now.
He's trying to hang on up here against Gnar. He's almost out of mana, however. Sword is going to transform into Mega Gnar. We'll see if he actually sticks around up in top lane as Dove picks himself up the blue buff, but Infernal Drake is on the agenda.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Yep.
And the vision is available for Sandbox. It's a scary thing. We got triple teleport coming in for Griffin. I think they liked the old sneak the Nexus in their matchup against SKT, so they're like, all right, we just need as many teleports as possible. The double teleport into the base to win the game wasn't enough. We're going to need 3. Viper doesn't like to be left behind. As,
45 seconds.
Man, I wish Lehends had taken Unsealed Spellbook. Then we could have had Quadra, and then Tarzan could have done the same thing, flashed into the base and had 5 people join him.
That's the next meta with Zizirot Portal and what is it? The thing that disables turrets.
Omwrecker.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite items of all time. Man, you'd walk so fast underneath the turret.
Yeah.
It's like double Raptor Cloak, baby. Feels good. Oh, what a weird item.
Really miss?
What do you really miss?
Take
Rally?
A guess. Take a guess. Take a guess.
Rally?
No.
Oh, I really miss Rally. Fortify? No, not a fan.
That's an item.
No, Fortify is a...
Banner of Command.
So you do miss Rally, because they had similar icons.
Okay.
No, I do miss Banner of Command as well.
I really like it. I like when there were teams that would have 4 or 5 banners.
Yep.
And then the game was decided by minions instead of champions.
It was the closest thing to League of Legends being an RTS that it's ever been.
I liked it a lot.
Yep.
I'm
really.
definitely a banner enthusiast.
I am too.
And also the semi-global ZZ-Rot portals. Those were good.
Yeah. I actually I love ZZ-Rot portal because then I get to have the conversation about what the little critters look like. Because I think they look like little rhinos.
What?
They look like little rhinos that come out.
They're little Rek'Sais.
Well, they are basically little Rek'Sais, but they look a little bit like little rhinos, and I just think it's adorable.
Huh? Maybe
and
cousins of Shelly.
Yeah, potentially. Oh, we could have the entire extended family. My goodness, we are really exploring the Rivers family tree right now, aren't we?
I really do think.
This is the important stuff. This is what we're talking about, the important stuff, guys,
Yes.
in this first versus second matchup between Griffin and Sandbox. Because honestly, it's just jockeying for position at this point. We're looking at the the Infernal Drake. Both teams have vision at the moment, but Sandbox have more of it. Still, the gold has not changed all that much. 2,000 is something that Griffin can deal with. And especially if you're a Griffin fan, right, you know exactly what Griffin's capable of. They're capable of team fighting no matter the case, right? They are always able to get a team fight. The game that they were down 8,000 gold, that transformed into a Viper Pentakill, if memory serves. That was against Hangul Live. So certainly not out just yet. Infernal, once again, going to be looked at, but this time Griffin in position. Chovy had the taunt at the ready. Did use it. He's going to back away as, oh man, who is baiting who right now? Lehends able to get over, looking to clear out vision.
Tarzan looking like he wants to recall, maybe has Oblivion Orb ready. Cancels it, actually. Maybe we're going to see a Weaver's Wall try to be utilized down in bottom lane. I don't know where OnFleek is going. He's headed over to Gromp, but this is definitely Infernal Drake timing.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's on the top side of the map. He doesn't have Void Rush anymore. It's a very different ultimate now for the Rek'Sai. Normally, you could see a Rek'Sai over here the last time she was in the meta, and you'd be like, oh, feels great, man.
Yeah.
But now that Sword's spotted OnFleek, that's an opportunity for Tarzan to go back and power up. Has that Oblivion Orb, like you say, couple of control wards built up as well. And yes, nothing actually happens as far as getting objectives on the map, but that is a huge deal in favor of Griffin.
Yep. And now the Shurima turret being summoned.
Yep. Sunny Jim in the mid lane.
Is that what you call it?
Well, it's a sun turret, so it was a pretty easy one.
Okay. I like that.
Alright, cool.
I can get behind that.
I feel like most of what our commentary is analytical about League of Legends and naming. That's what we're serious about. Everything else is banter. This isn't Infernal Drake going down extremely low. Tarzan just not going to be able to get into the pit. It was vision control gained. And what we said before, actually going to be irrelevant when it comes to being able to go back and grab that Oblivion Orb. Couldn't even use it.
And one of the really weird things to me is that Griffin was so willing to actually just give up the Infernal Drake despite definitely being in a position to capture it, especially when Rek'Sai was on the left-hand side of the map. It was very peculiar to see them posturing for as long as they were. And they're having this defensive team composition that'll definitely look to want to skirmish, but the problem is that you're going to have two items completed for the Azir, the Draven, and the Jace. Rek'Sai is going to be peeking out relatively soon as well, and now
Oh, Sword.
2.5k gold lead with an Infernal Drake for Sandbox. Things are not looking that hot for Griffin right now.
No, it's a scary one. Griffin was able to get the turret on the top side of the map, so at least Sword was able to pick that one up for himself. He has a Black Cleaver now. See what he's building towards? Looks like it is going to be the Frozen Mallet. Black Cleaver and Frozen Mallet is going to be the choice, much like what it was for Cuvée yesterday. And what I'm scared about is that Ghost has stacked up a whole bunch more Adoration, and he now has his Infinity Edge completed. And he's down 20 CS, but honestly, that matters so little, it's insane.
I guess one of the scary things for me is what happens if Draven cashes in now. That is such a massive gold swing in favor of Sandbox. The fact that he's already at 2 items here, 23 minutes, is extremely scary.
They're expensive items too. That's not... Yeah. That's not like you're just going down to the supermarket and buying yourself a bag. This is some Gucci and Armani type stuff. Just feeling real good about it. Viper looking to clear out this ward potentially, but look at all of the vision. There are 4 control wards around this Baron pit. Sandbox are in about as much control of a Baron pit as you can possibly be. As a blue side team, Griffin don't look too worried about it, and they do have a control ward in the very back of the pit that hasn't been cleared just yet. Despite all of that vision control, Viper is still able to stand up and keep this turret alive. Mid lane is the only one that has gone down thanks to Shelly. For Griffin, Sandbox have lost their outer turret on the top side of the map, but structures aren't falling very fast, and in fact, this game is slowing down.
This game is extremely slow, and with how team-reliant Griffin's team comp is on coming together with one another, I don't expect to see any fireworks fly, and I also don't think that a Cloud Drake is going to make anything about that change anytime soon, so I think that we're in for a little bit of a lull state, which is not something I ever would have expected to say.
Not in Sandbox game.
Versus Griffin, right?
Yeah. Griffin, of course, loved the late game, right? That's what their MO was, especially in 2018. This time it feels like they can play absolutely any style, and it doesn't matter. But this is a weird composition, right? This is a composition that wants to find team fights where they have a lot of CC to lay it together. The Weaver's Wall is going to come in. Hero's Entrance going to be available here for Chovy. Jumps on forward. The Culling's going to rip Joker apart, but they have survived the first salvo of the damage here. Joker's going to be sacrificed, but can they get anything in the backline? Oh my god! The Gnar just dives forward, and Sword shows you exactly why he locked in this pickup. Griffin might be able to just grab the Baron.
Yeah, they do have the Mountain Drake. I actually think that they can. Big shot coming in from Jace, but almost entirely absorbed by Sword. They have to be really careful right here. The Azir is definitely a scary champion.
Yep, flick back is going to land on the summit. Lehends is going to go, as that is the Gnar falling down. Now Griffin trying to chase. Viper still very healthy, but Dove is trying to do something about this. Justice Punch gets Chovy out of there, but the Baron is going to reset. Summit's trying to hold on to it. No, just going to clear out that control ward. Griffin unable to get the Baron, and they do lose their Gnar, but win the fight beforehand.
A little bit uncharacteristic to see Griffin go for a Baron like that, but then have it so easily repelled by Sandbox. We'll see it one more time. The thing that I was so perplexed by is just watch the seismic shove from Tarzan. I don't know what he was aiming at, his own teammate. But
I guess they were expecting a response of someone to dive on top of Viper.
Did not matter.
It was very strange. Yeah. This Gnar into the wall, though.
The Unbreakable, stopping the Draven ultimate as well. Everything just was fantastic for Griffin, setting up this team fight, and this is what the team composition is meant to do. Now, right here, Azir, pretty good at damaging champions that are sandwiched into a very small location.
Yeah, when it comes to AoE damage, and the champions that you're hitting are going to be happily standing together.
I was looking like an LEC Baron attempt.
Oh, too soon. Too soon. Come on, we're Gorilla fans here, alright? We're Gorilla fans. This is the LCK.
Whoa!
Does find the Mega Gnar, dives his way out as Summit flashes in, and no seismic shove yet again. Tarzan wanting to find more. The sticks are going to come down as the Void Assault unnecessary. Hero's Entrance is just going to slam down though. The taunt, and Chovy again just dives on forward and gets a double.
Clapback after clapback from Griffin. Chovy able to save the day.
All right, we need a new skin for Galio. It is definitely Janitor Galio. He's just cleaning up.
What?
Cleaning up after all of these kills.
Hulkbuster Galio.
Oh, that's pretty good too.
You like that?
Yeah, but I like the janitor idea. It needs to be Christopher Walken from, what was that movie that he was a janitor in? It was absolutely fantastic. I think it was an Adam Sandler movie. I can't quite remember. Oh, just stunning stuff though. Makes a comment about a fire extinguisher. Just excellent.
Walken's a great actor.
Oh, he's just
right here, you can definitely tell that Sword was not expecting to take as much damage as he was, but there's a lot of minions right there.
That's an army of minions.
Yeah, that was a very scary amount of minions. Tarzan in the seismic shove, you can tell that Tarzan, he's not a fan of Brock the Pokemon.
No.
Right? No seismic shoves on the agenda for him. Chovy, though, able to come in and save the day. Rex got knocked into the waterfall.
Yeah.
I really like that.
It's a little bit like Seismic Toss from a level 5 Pokemon. You know, it just doesn't do very much damage, unfortunately.
Well, as we return to the main game, the gold score, 1.2K for Sandbox. Still a very close game.
Yeah, but if you have a look down at the items, Summit has double lethality and a black cleaver. Broken stopwatch is actually a big deal as the Baron has been started. Oh man, are we... Sandbox attempting the one-up on Misfits.
Yeah. They're trying to give us the best Misfits impression.
Yeah. They just need, I wish we had a player cam and there's just like a winky face from OnFleek or something like that.
This is a gorilla outfit.
Yeah. Oh.
On the stage.
All of a sudden, all of Papa Smithy's tweets have become so sad. Okay. Viper and Lehends just going to be milling about, waiting for this red buff to come back off cooldown. They are going to find it. Checking in on some of these items. Rapid Fire Cannon is done here. For the Lucian, we'll see what he decides to build next, whether it is the Mortal Reminder completion or whether the Infinity Edge might come in. I actually like Infinity Edge here because I feel like Viper needs to be able to challenge for damage in the later stages of this game, because he is, by and large, the biggest source of the damage to come in is Joker.
Again?
That Seismic Shove. Seismic Shove was very close.
And definitely not having the best Talia game here.
Well, I mean, he started off pretty damn well, stealing away that red buff in the early game, and then grabbing the flashes out of both of the bot lane players. I think that saved a lot of the early game for Griffin, bottom side of the map. But you're exactly right. After that, it was went from a good news story to a horror movie quite quickly.
It was like watching M. Night Shyamalan, you know? He made signs and then...
Yeah.
Not signs, Sixth Sense.
Yep.
And everything after that we just don't talk about.
What was the absolute killer? What was the real... There was
the
a
Village?
really awful one. I didn't mind it.
What?
It wasn't
okay,
awful.
how about The Happening?
The Happening was god-awful.
Alright. He just had the most recent one. What was it? It was Glass, right? It was in Korea for not even 5 days before it was removed from theaters here.
Really?
Yeah. I was so excited to go see it. I'm like,
I know, that's the Unbreakable and Split
Split
sequel, right?
Pretty good.
I loved Split. Split was fantastic. But that was mostly just because what's his face? So incredibly good. James McAvoy.
Oh yeah. Absolutely phenomenal.
That was more of an acting masterclass rather than an actual movie,
right?
In my opinion. But certainly, it was a good one.
Really sad. Yeah, 5 days. I missed it one night. I was really sick.
How do you add Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson to a movie and then it's worse? Like, I don't understand. That doesn't make sense.
I still haven't seen it.
No, neither have I.
I'm really sad.
I wanted to.
Yeah.
Dang it. I heard that was coming out and then I just didn't think about it again. And now it's happened and it's like months later and I'm like, okay, I guess that did happen.
Do you know what comes out in a month?
What comes out in a month?
Avengers.
Oh yeah, you were talking about this.
We talked about this before. Yeah. I'm really excited. That's all that I'm looking forward to actually right now.
I'm excited about it. I'm no more excited about it than I was before I watched
I am
Captain Marvel though, which
less
is a bit
excited
weird.
After Captain Marvel. As weird as that sounds. No spoilers though.
That being said, I mean, I just really liked Captain Marvel. I'm just now not like, oh, this means a thing's gonna happen. I'm like, yeah.
You know, things happen sometimes.
They're happening right now as the Mountain Drake has finally spawned. Sandbox want to complete the Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's not going to be in the right order though, so we're not singing September just yet. OnFleek dives out of the pit, and now we got pings on the Baron. Sandbox thinking that that's what they want next. Augmented damage to the epic monsters, as well as having the extra movement speed and the Infernal Drake. Things feeling real good. As Sandbox, they have had control of this early game, transitioned it very nicely into the mid game, and I believe that it's only Viper that's had a great time outside of this. He's been farming up very well. Chovy as well, answering those dives onto his buddy Sword, has got himself a death cap already. 4 items complete for the Galio, but this isn't the same Galio that we talk about having gigantic impacts, right? Like, I feel like now, as we hit level 18 and things like that, a lot of those nerfs that did come in aren't as much of an issue, because a lot of them were to mana and cooldowns and things like that. But still not going to be the same Gargoyle Man than he was in the past.
Game is still extremely slow here. There has been 12 kills, but the sequence in which they all occurred, not the most exhilarating.
Yeah, exactly.
The follow-up Baron attempt was definitely fell short. Guardian Angel almost completed here for the Gnar. Actually, speak of the devil, it is completed, and stopwatch picked up as well.
They are ready for a team fight. That's exactly what this is telling me. Sword goes back, gets himself a control ward on top of, like you say, the Guardian Angel and the stopwatch. There's even Tarzan picking himself up an elixir. They know that they need to fight around a Baron and they need to fight around it soon. It's gold lead 1.5k at 33 minutes. This game could not be closer. Well, I mean, it could. I mean, the gold could be much closer.
It could be even.
There were more dragons
All right.
on Griffin's side.
Okay.
It could be closer. You know what I mean? It's very close.
Can you break it down for me?
Yeah, just did. I just did, don't worry.
All right.
And have a look. I mean, I don't think there's very much in the items that are telling me who's going to win a fight, apart from Guardian Angels being an advantage for Sandbox Gaming. Having double Zhonyas, though, means that... Okay, so it comes on down. Oh, Summit, you could be in trouble. There are 2 teleports jumping on top of you. Is this going to mean a Baron? As Summit gets out of the way of the boomerang, the hyperproc will speed up the Nara's Chovy, just can't get in range in time. And this Baron's going down so fast, the teleport. Is it going to be, oh, the steal from Tarzan! He lands it, doesn't get the seismic shoves, but who cares when you can get the smite? And they're winning the ensuing fight as Ingo soared into the backline. Already Viper has torn apart the Sandbox Gaming damage, and Dove goes golden, and he's looking on in horror as he just becomes 800 gold to be taken to the Griffin Bank.
And that is oh, what a turn of events. Summit did his best to try to shove in mid, take away all the minions from the follow-up Baron push. OnFleek looking like he's gonna be the next to fall. Can Summit give him an acceleration gate to help him get out of here?
This is actually a big deal, though. They're wasting time right now.
Oh, man.
As, of course, there are no minion waves heading up there. It's okay. Viper is just going to get exploded, but Void Assault is going to put him in the GA, and Viper's going to be able to create distance. Gets the double tap. See you later, Rek'Sai. And now Summit might be in trouble as well. Good boot back. That's going to avoid the taunt as well, as GA does go down. Viper had already teleported, though, and there was no chance that Jace was getting out. That's the taunt. And now Griffin are going to move towards the bottom lane in a turret, and we'll be able to get this one for free with so many dead.
And that is definitely a tilter. And Summit right at the end there, he probably should have just let OnFleek die. Instead, tried to make a decision to save him, ends up losing himself and the Guardian Angel in the process. Gnar, meanwhile, up in the top lane, raising turrets as well. And
yeah, this is the
I hate to
scary
say
thing.
it, Atlas, but I think the game just got completely blown to a point of no return. As Griffin, they're going to get Elder.
They are. And also, this is all of a sudden a 4,000 gold lead, the biggest gold lead that we've had in the game so far, with Sandbox holding on to control for 33 minutes and only finally relinquishing it with this.
And you know what? We were saying that Tarzan was missing a lot of skill shots. Well,
who cares?
He landed the point and click,
which
was the one that mattered most. And then this is so tilting. If you're Sandbox and you're OnFleek especially, trying to recover from the mental state that is a failed Baron capture, especially when Jace would have been in such a good position had you secured it. It just can't be very good. And if Sandbox does end up losing this game, you can bet this might affect them for game number 2.
Yeah, the thing that gets me though, right, is that there was no moment in this game where I felt like Sandbox were in a position where they were definitely going to win or anything like that. I mean, the advantage just was never big enough for me to stop believing in Griffin's power of team fighting, especially with a composition that does it so well. As you're not going to be able to do it this time, mate. That is an instant taunt as the Void Assault is in there. He turns golden, but Sword, he's starting to fight, but maybe a little bit too quickly as the Rek'Sai lasts for a long time. Empowered Shock Blast, though, is all that Summit is going to be able to offer. The Weaver's Wall. Remember what this ability did? It stopped you from defending your turrets, and it's going to continue doing that as they take down the outer in the mid lane, finally. And Griffin continue to have control. They've taken every epic monster on the map. Only 10 seconds left on this Baron as now Lehends dives on forward. Sun turret is going to be erected, and that's going to mean the push is going to stop. But feels like the damage has been done.
Really does. Griffin going to take a quick pause as they recall. And you can see here, OnFleek just want to make a quick donation into the Dragon Pick. We wanted to see it as it faded.
That's a whoopsies on the timing there.
Yeah. Ends up going golden for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, you know that song, Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better?
Right here,
that's
Lucian.
Not one that he sung very well.
He wanted his wife back right at the end there. So.
Yeah, screw you, Thresh.
So anyways, Now coming back into the live game, Elder still persisting for a minute and 15 seconds. That will not convert immediately into the Baron. But Griffin definitely should be looking to fight. Now, Sandbox, they could, in theory, turn a fight and still get back into this game. There's a 30-second timing window.
They have a GA on goes. Summit almost has his back up, but he's got a Bloodthirster. This is a Jace with about the most damage that you can possibly get out of a build whilst still retaining some of that safety. And if Sandbox can actually free hit and get work done in a team fight, then they will be able to do well. But the problem is, and the reason why we favor Griffin so much in these fights, is that they're the team with health bars. They're the ones with tankiness and CC.
Yep.
Because Chovy and Sword are both basically tanks. I mean, Chovy's this weird tank that's built only damage, but just seems really, really hard to kill him. And he just does so much disruption. Oh man, it's a terrifying prospect. 6-0-6 on the Galio. All he did was clean up duty in the early game, but it stopped good dives from Sandbox from working. Yeah. And that's what happens. Like, I mean, Galio moves from the mid lane to the bottom side of the map, and you only really need to play around Hero's entrance after you get to the mid game, because that's when the Galio is roaming around more consistently. Yes, we are going to have the supports roam, but it's going to be in a different, more coordinated dive sort of attempt with the Galio in that instance. Defensive Hero's entrances on a Twitch are what happen when you have him in the mid lane. And Chovy's just shown Sandbox that, yes, yeah, you have to play around that again, guys. That's the thing you have to do. And they weren't able to do it.
Sandbox, what they're trying to play around right now is the vision around the Baron pit. They're trying to suffocate it, and if they can control that narrow corridor into the river, that is where Azir is going to be strongest. Instead, though, they're actually having him really deep inside of the river.
Yeah, they've started it instantly. Tarzan's going to come on over. Ghost is still hitting the Baron. A bit of miscommunication maybe as Griffin have moved themselves in there. OnFleek going to make it a 50-50 as he dives underneath the ground. Tarzan, oh, he's not going to get it, but Chovy will pick it up. Dove is going to miss the ultimate. His Sword gets himself over the wall with the flash, and in the back line, everyone's just dying. You can see Sword can play frontline. He's having a great time here as he kills the Thresh. And Dove just going to have to try and shift some sands to get out of the way, but it'll need to be the sands of time, guys, because this one is over. Griffin have toppled Sandbox yet again, and Chovy, he just wants to finish it now. Inhibitor finally goes down, and Griffin aren't going to be routed in game number 1.
Yeah, game number 1 going to go over to Griffin. Summit is going to have to sit there and watch as the Nexus is destroyed. And Griffin, it all started with that Baron steal.
Yep, 34 minutes into the game, guys, was exactly when Sandbox lost the game. And do you know what happened? Atalia flashed a wall and won a smite battle. That's what happened.
That's all that it took.
Yeah, exactly. And then OnFleek